That's it. So, in our journey, Lent, this preparation, this is a time of purification, is really to help us to celebrate the celebration of Easter. And as we commemorate today Saint Benedict, he said in the Rule of Life there is an entire chapter about Lent. And he said, yeah, we have all this practice that is to wait the celebration of the resurrection in the joy of the Holy Spirit. So all the penance, all the time of prayer that we are invited to live during this time should be full of the action and presence of the Holy Spirit. I mentioned yesterday that about Saint Joseph, he could be this saint because he was also obedient to the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is really the gift given to us right now to accompany us, to help us to stay motivated, to stay focusing on the goal of our life. And as I started to say already, that it's not about the future, it's about today, concretely. That concretely, we have this day to glorify God, to be united with Him. And we celebrate the Mass, and that's why we do it in a special place, in a church. And this chapel in which we are, the shrine of Schoenstatt, you have 180 chapels that are exactly the same all around the world. And this chapel, the first, is in Schoenstatt in Germany. And I think the sign of the Catholic Church, the Universal Church, to manifest that, well, it's another place, but they will do the same architecture, exactly the same replica, to say that whatever the church we are in the presence of God, and God is the same everywhere. And there are special places on earth, even if God is everywhere, that we dedicate to Him. So this place, this prayer here, especially belong to God. And we come here to encounter Him. And a lot of people come here in pilgrimage, and we are here, we have the privilege to have this retreat here, also to encounter God. You can encounter Him everywhere, but there are special places where there is really kind of a contact between heaven and earth. And not just because of the good deed, but because of what we are doing here, celebrating the Eucharist. The sacrifice of Jesus Christ, that is a unique sacrifice, that there was just one, anticipated at the Last Supper, achieved and realized on the cross. And with the resurrection. Never separate all that. These three moments, if you want, the Last Supper, the death of Jesus on the cross, and His resurrection. And it is what we celebrate always during the Mass. And that's why, back in the days, you could not celebrate the Mass outside a sacred place, outside a chapel, a church. So now we have the permission, we are allowed for pastoral purpose or missionary purpose to do it outside the churches. But still we keep this, that there is, we are incarnated, I said this already, we have a body, and our body can be a burden, can be heavy, but can be also what helps us to approach God. And God knows it very well because He made us. And He decided not only to give His life for you and me on the cross, but also to give His life to you and me in the Eucharist. But the real presence of Jesus, as I said, in the sacrament, is not to stay in the sacrament. It's to be consumed. It's to be received, to be assimilated by us. But St. Augustine said that don't think that you are assimilating the Eucharist as another food. You know, when you eat an apple, well, you do kind of magic. There is an apple, you eat it, and the apple disappears. Where is the apple now? The apple is assimilated by you. It's not just in you, now it's you. The apple becomes you. And it's a great achievement for an apple to become a human being. But here, it's the opposite. When we see the Eucharist, it's not we are transforming Jesus into us, but because He's greater than us, we are transformed into Him. He is assimilating us. He is transforming us. So you are the apple, we are the apple, and He is the one who is elevating us to another nature, if you want. It is exactly what happens in the Eucharist. And you know that it makes also some sense, I think it's St. Augustine as well, saying that when you come back from the communion, you know that we know there is a spiritual battle, and I guess the evil spirits will try to, at any time of our days, and even maybe right at the moment to distract us from the focus of our life, or the Lord of our life. And so when you come back from the communion, well, they are all escaping away, they are just afraid of you, because you are carrying Jesus. You have Jesus in you. So united with you, that there is almost no difference. Almost. And you know, therefore, all this journey of Lent, to help us again to come back to this gift of God during His passion, during His crucifixion, and through the resurrection. And today we see in this Gospel Jesus telling us that to be in communion with God, we have also to keep the communion with our brothers. And if a brother has sinned against you, has done wrong, well, you have to help the brother to come back to the unity, to the communion with God, to the communion with the church. And you know that this year in the diocese is about to reflect and to improve the communion of community. And here we see that we have a responsibility, and not just a good time together, but also to bring back to the communion those who have gone astray, and we are all sinners. And it is also a fraternal charity sometimes to admonish our brother if we see them doing wrong. Instead of laughing of that, or even instead of maybe taking part also of this, what they are doing and what is wrong. To do it with mercy, with kindness, but to tell the truth. But the greatest gift that we can give one another is the truth. But in the way that the truth will not hurt them, but that will heal them. That is what Jesus is never stopped to do in the Gospel. He is very clear. He is very telling the truth, but in a way that the people won't be scared or hurt by this truth. You can kill people with the truth. By telling them the truth in the wrong way, even if it's formally the right thing that has to be said, but the way that you say it is not to say that, it's not to love them. It's just only to correct them. So yes, we have to correct one another. We have to accept the other to correct us as well, to be open to that. And that's why we help one another, but to do it with kindness, with mercy, with hope. And then when Peter comes to Jesus and to say, well, how many times will I forgive? It's hard to forgive. And even just once, it's hard to forgive. And then when it's repeatedly that I have to do it again, well, you start to be tired, you start to lose the trust in this person, that to say, well, I will forgive you and you will do it again, you will abuse me. But well, no, what is that? It's not an abuse. We have abused the Lord so much that He had to go to this extreme on the cross to let us understand how much He's forgiving us. And you know that one of the last words of Jesus on the cross is, I thirst. He's thirsting to somehow to prolong His life, to continue to forgive us. But still He decided to die on the cross, once for all. And each time we receive a sacrament, all the sacraments, you know, are flowing from the heart of Jesus. So here, in this crucifix, we have Mary, the Presence of Mary, with a chalice, and receiving from the heart of Jesus this precious blood, which is the new fontaine, the new source of life for us. Source of our spiritual life, source of our supernatural life. And that's why we come to communion. But that's why we dare to come to communion. Even sometimes we feel so unworthy. We feel so far from the reality. But then we should not also abuse of it. I mean, we should really examine ourselves if I'm ready to receive the Lord. but sometimes we will never be worthy. So somehow we obey the commandment of Jesus to do this in memory of me. Take this and eat it. And we obey him. And still, before the communion, we always say, I'm not worthy to receive you, but just say a word and my soul shall be healed. And we say, I'm not worthy, and we still go to communion. And we'll never be worthy. Never. After, what can change is my feeling. Oh, today I feel worthy. Today I don't feel worthy. Or whatever your feelings. Well, our feelings, we know, are deceiving sometimes, they are just changing. But what is the truth? The truth that we are baptized, we try to follow Jesus, we try to implement every day, and we obey his word. Come to me. To be transformed. Don't wait to be a saint. The Eucharist is meant for the sinners. And the saints as well. But, you know, what's transformed us is the love of God. And the love of God, we receive it in the communion. So we try to get to forgive. And we try to ask for forgiveness. And we should do it. Because there is many opportunities to do it. And not just once. Every day. That's why we start always the Mass with the confession of our sins. And that's why even in this extraordinary form, you see that before the communion, we don't just say once, Lord, I'm not ready to receive you, but we say, Lord, I shall be healed. We say it 3 times. Not that, you know, in itself, it doesn't change much to say once or twice, 3 times. But for myself, maybe if I was distracted the first time, maybe the second time, oh, I start to be awake, and the third time, maybe I really say it with all my heart. So it's not for God. God is not, you know, deaf. You can hear very well. It's for us. The liturgy is for us. 3 times to read that at least at the third time I really think and mean what I'm saying. Lord, I'm not worthy. But I have this hope. Only say a word and I shall be healed. I shall be healed. But one of the conditions that is said that to do that, to approach the altar, we have to forgive those who have sinned against us or against others. And at least we have to want it. That we have the feeling that we are never achieving fully the forgiveness. Well, it's because we have to keep it. To keep forgiving. Not just once. 70 times, 7 times. It means always. And because also we have to be forgiven. And then, when you forgive, what happens? There is new communion. And the one you forgive is even more precious to you because it costs you something. You forgive. What does it mean? Literally, you have to give something. When we forgive, and it's always hard, we have to give something of ourselves. And what God has done, He gave His life to reunite us, to reconcile us. So to forgive is never easy. And we have to give something from ourselves. But by doing this, we never lose. We are the winners. The more you lose, the more you win. It's this logic of Jesus Christ. So let us live this Mass with confidence, with fervor, with love for Jesus, openness to His grace, and asking Him the grace as well to be this instrument of reconciliation and of forgiveness.